My name is Yogendra Kumar Sharma, and I am the faculty of economics, especially for the UPSC paper 3 Indian economy. Today I am going to teach you a very interesting topic which is known as inflation. Why I have opted for this? Because this topic recently has been doing the rounds. Okay, na? Everyone is talking about. If you go through the newspaper, then there is an issue of the inflation or unemployment. Okay, na? And unemployment, rather I should say. If you opening up your TVs, okay, na? Or if you watching the news, wherever you will, getting yourself engaged, either with the print media or the electronic media. Everyone is talking about that inflation is increasing. So today my intention is that I should simplify this topic for you, that what do we mean by the term inflation and how in a simplistic manner we can understand this. So without wasting any time, I'm just, first of all, I would like to explain it in a very simplistic manner that inflation simply means a phenomenon in which price rise takes place. It may occur with respect to the economy. It may occur with respect to the economy, and at times we can link it with a particular commodity also. Commodity or commodities. Commodity oblique commodities. Okay, na? Commodities. When it is taking place with respect to the economy, so we are talking about that inflation is increasing in Indian economy, or Indian economy is suffering from the problem or issue of the inflation. When we are linking it with a particular commodity or a group of commodities, then we can say that, okay, in this particular sector, inflation is persisting or taking place. Getting my point? But you have to understand that it is a phenomenon which represents this scenario, price rise. Getting my point? Now listen. So how we can understand this? First, when you have to define the inflation, you can say that two simultaneous things are taking place. First is price level of the goods and services is increasing in the economy. One thing, dear student. Second thing, you can say that decline in the purchasing power of the currency is taking place. Now listen. What I have written? I have written two statements. One is that either the price level of the goods and services is increasing in the economy, or second statement I have written down that decline in the purchasing power of the currency is taking place. Now, I'm trying to substantiate with the help of one very simple example. Suppose here, example or our commodity is, suppose, milk. Try to understand. In the year just 2024, I'm assuming, okay? Suppose price of the milk was 50 rupee per liter. 50 rupee per liter. And in the current year 2025, suppose price of the milk has reached up to 60 rupee per liter. Now you have to think about two things. One is the quantity of the commodity, and second thing is the price of the commodity. So when I am asking about the quantity of the commodity, so dear student, you will say that there is no rise, because here also 1 liter and here also 1 liter. There is no change in the commodity. Earlier you were fetching 1 liter milk after paying 50 rupee. Now you are able to get 1 liter milk after paying 10 rupee extra. So you will say that how we can understand this? That purchasing power of the 50 rupee now is equal to the how much? 60 rupee, or rather I should say that the purchasing power of the 60 rupee earlier was equal to the 50 rupee, or earlier the purchasing power of the 50 rupee was higher than the 60 rupee. Getting my point? Because now you are paying how much? you are paying 10 rupee extra. You are paying 10 rupee extra. Getting my point? So technically what has happened? Technically the purchasing power of the currency has declined, because earlier we were able to fetch the same quantity of the milk after paying 50 rupee, and now we are getting the same quantity of the milk after paying 10 rupee extra. So in a very common language, you can say that earlier the work that was can be performed by the 50 people, now for the bringing of the same task we are employing 10 people extra. So it means that earlier 50 people were more stronger than the current 60 people. Getting my point? So it means current 60 rupee is what? Weaker in comparison to the earlier 50 rupee. So what has happened technically when we are talking about that price rise is taking place with respect to the commodity? So what is happening technically? So technically this thing is happening, that there is a decline in the purchasing power of the currency. So dear student, when you have to define this concept, that what do we mean by the term inflation? So inflation simply means that it is a scenario, it is a phenomenon which is representing two simultaneous things. One is that either price level of the goods and services is increasing or is rising up, or second thing is that there is a decline in the purchasing power of the currency. I think up to here it is very clear. Getting my point? Second thing is that without knowing the base, you cannot say that whether decline has taken place or increase has taken place. Suppose I do not know that what was my weight earlier. Getting my point? And suppose all of a sudden I am trying to measure myself, okay, and I get to know this, that my weight is 70 kilogram or 75 kg right now, and you are all of a sudden asking me that, sir, how much weight you have put on? How can I tell it if I haven't measured myself earlier? So if I have measured myself earlier, that okay, earlier my weight was 70 kg, and now I'm weighing myself and I have put on 5 kg extra. So I can say that I have put on 5 kg extra. So without knowing earlier, I cannot say that whether my weight has increased or my weight has decreased. Same is the thing with respect to the price level. Getting my point? So therefore, in the ignorance of the base, you cannot say that whether price level has increased or decreased. So therefore, a concept of the base here is studied with respect to the inflation. Getting my point? So when you have to define that whether price level has increased or decreased, so it should be what? Always measured with respect to the base year. So how you will define that? In comparison to the base year, the price level has increased or price level has decreased. If price level has increased in comparison of the base year, you will say that inflation is taking place or inflation has taken place. So therefore, every rise in the price level is not an inflation. If price rise is taking place with respect to the base year, then only you will say that okay, inflation has taken place. Getting my point?
अगर आप दिल्ली जैसे शहर में बजट में आईएएस की तैयारी करना चाहते हैं तो इस वीडियो को एंड तक जरूर देखें। ये है बनो आईएएस। इसको रन करने वाले हैं यूपीएससी क्वालिफाइड एक्स सिविल सर्वेंट एंड जामिया आरसीए एलुमनाई। यहाँ की फैकल्टी को ना केवल यूपीएससी एग्जाम का एक्सपीरियंस है, बल्कि पढ़ाने का भी सालों का एक्सपीरियंस है। ये एक्सपर्ट फैकल्टी हर टॉपिक को अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन करते हैं, उसके बाद हर टॉपिक को डिक्टेट करते हैं ताकि आपके पास अपने खुद के हैंड रिटन नोट्स हो। साथ ही क्लास में प्रीलिम्स और मेंस के प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व किया जाता है और डिस्कस भी किया जाता है।
यहाँ पे आपको सिविल सर्वेंट्स जैसे कि आईएएस, आईआरएस और एक्स सिविल सर्वेंट्स साथ के साथ जामिया आरसीए के एलुमनाइज आपको पर्सनल मेंटरशिप देते हैं। डेली आंसर राइटिंग जो कि सारे टॉपर्स रिकमेंड करते हैं, इस पर यहाँ पे बहुत फोकस किया जाता है जो कि बाकी कोचिंग्स में नहीं होता है। इसके साथ ही आपको मिलती है प्रीलिम्स और मेंस की टेस्ट सीरीज जो आपको एग्जाम के लिए रेडी करती है। यहाँ के अगर हाईलाइट्स की बात करें तो स्मॉल बैच साइजेस जिसमें 60 स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं और जीएस कोर्स के साथ आपको एसए और सीसैट की क्लासेस भी होती है जिसके लिए आपको अलग से पे करने की जरूरत नहीं है।
और ये लोकेटेड है सुखदेव विहार मेट्रो स्टेशन के बिल्कुल सामने। तो देर किस बात की, आज ही स्टार्ट करें और अपने यूपीएससी के सपने को साकार करें। थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग बनो आईएएस।
Now, after this, and I'm hopeful, or I'm assuming that I would have been able to convey my message completely to you. Now, dear students, the another term, which is completely opposite to the inflation, is deflation. In case of deflation, we see that there is a decline in the price level, because deflation is what? Completely opposite to the inflation. Now, like earlier I said that every price rise is not an inflation, or you cannot say that every price rise is equal to the inflation. No. In the same manner, every decline in the price level is not equal to the deflation. So how we can understand this phenomenon? So technically, I'm just, narrating out before you. I'm drawing something. Watch me carefully. This line is representing to the base price. This is a little bit technical, but very interesting, because you will be able to understand this. Below the base, here, this side is what? Representing to the deflation, and above is representing to the inflation. Here stands 0. So here, below this, 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, and 5%. Minus 1%, minus 2%, minus 3%, minus 4%, and minus 5%. Since above this side is representing to the inflation, so there will be a rise with the sign of the plus. So plus 1%, plus 2%, plus 3%, plus 4%, and plus 5%. And this line simply is representing to the base price. So suppose earlier we assumed a commodity milk, and base price we are again assuming 50 rupee per liter. So below 50 rupee per liter is deflation, above 50 rupee per liter is inflation. Now listen, how the price level journeys. Suppose price level journeys in this manner, or travels in this way. So here you see that there is a continuous decline in the base price of the commodity. So how much it has declined? It has declined up to minus 3%. So if this is the state of the price level in the economy, so you will say that now deflation is how much? Minus 3%. So deflation, dear student, is a phenomenon when price level is dipping down even below the base price. Means when price level has declined up to that extent that even state is this, that price level has declined in comparison to the base. Getting my point? Means base is something and price level is below the base price. Getting my point? Now, after that, what we are seeing or what we are experiencing? We are experiencing that there is a sign of the recovery like this. So suppose again here, here, and here. So this state of the recovery means how you will represent it? This is the state of the recovery in terms of the price level. In terms of the price level that a few moments ago we were talking about that had declined. Getting my point? Now, this line is representing to the base you have written down already. Now, what is happening? That there is an increase in the price level and it is taking place in comparison to the base. So here 1% rise, 2% rise, here is the 3% rise, then is the 4% rise, and finally is what? The plus 5% rise or 5% rise. So at this state, means price level has become stagnated, means we are not experiencing any further rise. So we will say that plus 5% is what? The level of inflation with respect to this particular commodity. Are you able to get my point? Because earlier I talked about that it may take place in, with respect to the overall economy, with respect to the commodity, with respect to the commodities or group of commodities. Getting my point? So that's why I have written down that the level of the inflation with respect to the milk. So 5%. But what has happened? Earlier, first there was a rise, initially 1%, then 2%, then 3%, then 4%, and finally it became stagnated at the 5%. Getting my point? Or at this stage. So this final stage is known as the final level of the inflation. That inflation is what? Right now or at present 5% in the economy. Now after that, what you are noticing, after that again there is a trend of the decline. Getting my point? Suppose this. So this is the point, this is the point, this is the point, this is the point, and finally. So here, 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 and then again. So dear student, when again there is a decline in the price level, now I am using the term decline in the price level. Getting my point? But this decline is taking place above the base, not below the base. Below the base means deflation. Above the base means not deflation. So here in economics we call it that there is a plus 1% positive decline, plus 2% positive decline, plus 3% positive decline, plus 4% positive decline, finally the 0. So dear student, this positive decline in the price level, this positive decline in the price level, economics using a very popular term which is known as disinflation. Disinflation means a positive decline in the inflation. Getting my point? But it is taking place above the base. So therefore this decline, though decline in the price, although a positive decline in the price, therefore we have stated it out what the disinflation. And the moment when this scenario is taking place below the base, that again you will say what is happening? Deflation is happening. Getting my point? And here I have stated that this recovery sign in the means deflationary trend. So when you notice a recovery sign in the deflationary trend or in the means this decline in the price level, this phenomenon is known as reflation. Getting my point? So again I am telling you dear students that this continuous rise is inflation, this continuous positive decline in the price level is disinflation, and if price level is dipping down below the base, then this is deflation, and when recovery starts taking place, this is known as the reflation. So I'm hopeful that what I wanted to convey, definitely you would have been able to understand this. Thank you very much dear students.